And the natural potential is about what Katita was talking about, is to have passion for what one does. For example, a mountain climber in the middle of the cold, risking his life, dirty, in rags, but he's happy. This person is doing something that he's passionate about. Sometimes we love to see a picture like this, but we would never do such a thing. We'd never climb a mountain. So this is a good definition of natural potential. The most important concept has to do with the sensation of flowing. So what is a competence? To talk about another concept included in this definition. It's a standardized requirement in the modern competence systems. We talk about observable behaviors. If someone does X or Y in X or Y times, it means that this person is meeting the standards of good practices for this behavior. So for the soccer player, it would be to play according to the rules, to play in a fair play way. Is it exceptional? It might be, but not necessarily. Competence is not about being exceptional. Now another concept, which is about resilience. Why talk about resilience with you at this moment? Because actually, resilience and sustainability should be two sister words. Actually, they should be synonyms. Resilience is what makes one person or one material, because this is a word that we borrowed from material physics, from engineering. Psychology borrowed this word, and it means to be able to follow the crisis, to be flexible when you have a hurricane or a storm, and then when the crisis is over, when the most difficult point in one's life is over, you can go back to your way of being. You can be yourself again. And you're even strengthened and made richer by what occurred to you.
I include this word resilience because competences, when they are in flow and in the natural talent of a person, they bring resilience. To become what we are is being resilient. I'm going to insist. Sometimes it's difficult because we don't know who we are. Sometimes what's difficult is to know ourselves. What's difficult is to find this passion that we're going to see that will make us feel as a fantastic being. And the next concept, which is extremely important for us to share this talent sustainability within learning, is flow. What does flow mean? The most clear example of the optimal state of the flowing state is a tennis player or a writer or a painter or myself when I make a PowerPoint. Time flies. You sat or you went to whatever that activity where you flow, and you said, I'm going to do it in 1 hour. Our brain usually understands the pace of time, except when we flow. It's very likely that when we look at our watch, believing that 1 hour went by, 2 hours went by, or 3 or 4, and we have this expression in Spanish, time flew. What happened? How come? Did I take all this time to do this and I'm not even tired? I don't feel bad. And I don't want to finish. I could go on for 4 hours because I love what I'm doing. I have passion on that. I'm flowing. It's fluid here. I'm doing something that comes from inside my gut. And this is the idea that I wanted to stress. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. This is where I wanted to tell you that I share with you a small definition of sustainable talent. This is when a student flows. How do we do in a classroom in sustainable education for all the students to flow? Because as we said in poetry, we are different fires, and each student will flow in his or her own way. And we'll have groups of students that can flow with the same things. But it's extremely important to respect the natural talent of people. In this world that needs so much creativity, innovation, new ideas, it's extremely important to respect talents of our students and to make them appear and grow. My proposal of sustainable talent is if I allow the natural talent of a person to flow and surface, to grow, if I add competences, if I allow this person to masterize, to learn and read about what they do at best, Catita Baribadi playing football. Everything that's not competence, everything that the person cannot do, or everything that does not flow, we should make it tiny, or we'll make the person feel smaller. We have to promote environments that will give value and promote people's potentials. We know that people are complex systems. We have a huge amount, a wealth of aspects, and it's in this complexity that is difficult to dwell. So I am at your disposal for questions. Thank you, Christina. It was extremely interesting to hear that story, to give example of what it is, talent. I believe that Catito, besides being able to play football, he also had passion and was was affectionate for people. And this is the engine of his potential, and his talent was to be an excellent football player or soccer player. Actually, I loved your conference because it added value to other things that have been already said today about the same topic, the importance of education and how we should leverage what is natural in people. And if I understood well, and this is my question, where is the potential? This is one question. And a question for someone online. What is the pathway? How do you get to achieve potentials and develop your potentials? We don't have much time. We have 5 minutes. And I would ask you to answer, if necessary, if you can, 5 minutes so we can close. Well, first question is, where is the potential? Where does potential lie? And I would like to further on it, but there are 2 or 3 aspects that we have to take into account. Some have to do with innate conditions of each one of us. We do it in one way. I am so much high. I use my right hand. So we have our own conditions and others that are not so visible, like being right or left-handed. Other conditions that have to do with being shy or not. This environment of the conference where we are now is extremely introverted, and I love it because I have this trend towards introversion. And so I am like a fish in the water when I have to give classes to students that are very noisy, which happens sometimes. For instance, I have a course for salespeople, and I don't feel comfortable. And this is a condition of my brain that people are more introverted or extroverted. I'm not shy exactly, but I would rather process one thing at a time. And I see that Marga is talking to Juliana there. And this is a stimuli for me. And Marga is laughing, but this is very important for you to understand that people are very introverted, very extroverted, and actually there is a Gaussian curve in the middle, in between. But we need everybody, every type of person. This is an example that's something that cannot be changed. Other examples are mental preferences, how the brain cortex functions. But there's something else that's much more important, and that Agustin Cusani and Catito talk about, which are our values. And values are not something that we are born with. We're born with some predispositions, but our life experiences at school, the teachers, the uncles, the parents, the relatives, the friends of our parents, the circumstances, whether you grow up in an urban area or not, all this make us what we are and give us a scale of values that will make each one of us to do something for somebody. You who are listening to this conference right now are listening to it for some reason. The technician, because it has to do with that. Margaret, because she has pleasure in that. Some because just they bumped into that. Each one is listening to this for some reason that has to do with their values, because they want to learn, because they want to compete, reproduce it, to share with their friends. These all are different values that make us different, and we take a stance based on that. And what are the stones in the pathway of stones in development? Let's see if I interpret the stone pathway, because I don't understand this expression much. I had never seen that. I believe that it's a difficult pathway. Actually, if you are in the pathway of your own talent, if you are flowing, it should not be a pathway of stones. For somebody who's going up a mountain, he's never tired. There's nothing that hurts him. To be oneself, we remove the stones from the pathway. When you do something with passion, it doesn't matter how many titles you have, if you're famous or you're not famous. If you have this an SUV or an old car, it doesn't matter. You do whatever causes you passion, and you have patience for your passion. Marga, I believe you want to say something? Yes. First, the pathway of stones is the critical pathway to reach talent. But now I want to tell you that there are many, many questions of different kinds, and all of them are going to be are already posted in the forum, where you yourself can answer and connect directly to the people who ask those questions. And these questions are open for you and everybody who participates, so that we can, among ourselves, cooperate and co-create answers from our experiences. And I also want to take this moment to thank you once again and say that it was extremely interesting. It added much value to our forum. This important aspect of your personal contribution, that is actually the only contribution that exists. There are no abstract contributions. There are only those that were lived by somebody. So one last word of farewell, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank the whole team. that it was work and flowing work. And thank you for listening to me. And I'm here for any question you have. Thank you.